Well, with no real news cycle when it comes to the Idaho 4 murders, the truth of this is people are just making shit up. They are. And I'm going to comment on their shit that they're making up. Now, apparently, Bryan Kohberger is a big-time serial killer that is being investigated for other suspected, shall I say, for potential murders in Pennsylvania. By the way, the same people that are saying this are the same people that said Bryan Kohberger was dumb enough to leave the knife sheath and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Look, anybody that's seen this case knows the Idaho 4 murders, if Bryan Kohberger did it, was very, very sloppy. That is not the work of a professional. When you look at all the different things that they're acting as if Bryan Kohberger has left behind. So, we'll get into this. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time with JB Gunner. This is your second video of the day. Earlier we talked about the ID car. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out. But we're gonna get things rolling right now. Let's go.
Bring it back.
Y'all got me hype as fuck when it comes to Bryan Kohberger today, and we're gonna talk about it. I got a couple more videos coming out because I'm gonna also talk about Richard Allen in Delphi. Why y'all start killing that man in there? Y'all don't even know if he did it. But of course, y'all bootlickers, y'all like, what do you think? I actually saw a comment that said, do you think the FBI and the Moscow Police Department could make a mistake like this? Yeah, I do. And then they tried to switch it up. They're like, so are you saying they planted evidence? No, I'm not. I didn't say that. They're capable of it, but I did not say that. But do I believe the FBI makes mistakes? I still see Hunter Biden walking around. I still see Hillary Clinton walking around. Yeah, they can fuck up. Anyways, before we get into this, I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports the channel, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do without you, the Gun Squad. Shout out to you guys. Love you guys very much. With all that being said, if you too find my content valuable, you want to support the channel, no better time than now. I've lost a few sponsors as of late. You guys feel free to hit the links down below, support the channel, and let's keep things moving. While you're down there, by the way, if you're not a snowflake, you can check out some of my other channels. This is my true crime. My news channel, my live stream channel, my news politics channel's down for about a week. Y'all know why. Y'all know how it works. Anyways, can't be all that. It's part of the game. Anyway, y'all can check out them channels down below as well, my gaming channel, things like that. All right, let's get right into this. Kohberger, many of you guys believe was dumb enough to commit these killings. Somehow you believe that he was dumb enough to leave the knife sheath. You believe he was dumb enough to drive around with his cell phone, get caught in all this. And even though the cell phone pings have like a 27-mile radius, square mile radius. You guys believe he left the knife sheath. You guys believe he was so fucking tired and such in a hurry that he left the knife sheath, left Dylan Mortensen, and somehow rummaged through a purse to grab a broad's ID. That's what you guys believe. Then you believe that he went to class with gloves on, which he didn't. You believe not only this, but you believe he then had pillowcases and dog hair in his house, in his apartment, that you believe, not me, belonged to the victims. This is what you guys say. Then you believe he drove all the way with cuts on his hand, got stopped twice. For some reason, even then, still didn't get rid of things that you claim he took to Pennsylvania, which would be, you believe he took the knife to Pennsylvania. I've heard many of you say it. You believe he took the knife to Pennsylvania. You believe that he took the ID card to Pennsylvania. You believe that he was rummaging through trash in the middle of the night, getting rid of evidence. That's what you believe, not me. Those are the things you believe. So you believe that he did all this bullshit, made all these mistakes, made all of these errors, but at the same time, you believe that he was a serial killer and that he's done this before. If you believe Kohberger did this with all these mistakes, like the ID, like everything, like the Elantra, like all of this, there's no way in fuck there's no way this isn't him popping his cherry on this. But some of you believe he's been doing killings, skinning dogs and shit leading up into this. You believe that he could have possibly killed people in Pennsylvania leading up to this. No, if this was Kohberger, you can clearly see this was a rookie mistake. All of this evidence. Now, let's go ahead and get on over here. Because, yes, I did upload you guys another video. In fact, let me go ahead and make that public for you guys so you guys can check it out while I'm doing this. All right. So here's where we're going to go. We're going to go right on over here because they're going to talk about Bryan Kohberger potentially being suspected of other crimes. There's a couple videos I could look at here. I could look at Cuomo here, but I kind of want to look at this one. I want you to hear what these people are saying. I mean, we could look at old Coffindoffer, but old Coffindoffer is just going to say the same old repetitive shit that she says in everything. In fact, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and roll it. Let's roll it.
All right, so we all know that right now, Bryan Kohberger is sitting in an Idaho prison, right? He's awaiting trial for the murders of 4 college students. But tonight, I can report to you exclusively that authorities in Pennsylvania, where he was arrested, are investigating potential involvement in other outstanding homicides. Now, how would this work?
How would they know? Go ahead.
Why would they be doing this? We have answers. Retired FBI agent and News Nation legal contributor Jennifer Coffindoffer.
Of course, here comes Coffindoffer.
High-profile trial attorney Mark Garagos. Counselor, you had heard similar to what I just reported, yes?
Yes, I have heard similar, and not just in this case.
Where are they hearing these things from?
But virtually every high-profile case that is a circumstantial murder case, evidence murder case.
That makes sense.
You almost inevitably hear
Garagos
some
makes
other
sense.
unsolved murder, and law enforcement looks to see if they can link whoever the suspect is.
And why that is?
Well, for one thing, I suppose it fills a vacuum. Why did somebody do this when you don't have a motive? That is the most obvious.
Bam. You heard it right there. Really what this is grasping for straws. You understand? They don't have a motive if they believe it's called. They don't have a motive of anything with this case. So they're like, well, let's make one up. Let's make one up. Let's find one. And that's essentially what they're doing. And look, they probably are investigating any other, like if I was the police in Pennsylvania, I'd be like, let's see if this guy's done this before. But once again, if you look at the YouTubers and other people reporting on this, Kohberger was a serial killer. Come on, man. Come on. If you can't possibly believe he did Idaho and that he's a serial killer, because Idaho is not the work of a successful serial killer. Let's just be honest. We're talking about somebody that studies this shit. That's going for his PhD. You believe he's this goddamn dumb, but at the same time, you believe he was at least smart enough to get away with previous murders in Pennsylvania. This, to me, is just normal shit. It's just normal shit.
Excuse me, explanation. Thank you. And also, the cynic in me, the defense lawyer in me, always suspects that it's a way to dirty somebody.
Exactly.
I mean, if there's any doubt as to the presumption of innocence, all you got to do is throw in the fact that he's also suspected of homicides.
Bam. That's right. If your prosecution case isn't that strong, you got to dirty it up. How can we make Kohberger seem guilty? I know. Maybe he was killing people in Pennsylvania. That's what we'll do. We'll put that out in the media. We'll get people thinking maybe Kohberger's Ted Bundy Jr. How many of you people have shared the Ted Bundy Kohberger memes? A lot of you have. A lot of you really believe this is Ted Bundy 2.0. It's insanity to me. But it is what it is. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'll give you that. But I just want to make this clear. But at the same time, you call him dumb. You either believe he's smart enough and calculated enough to do this, or you don't. You can't have it both ways. You cannot tell me he's a calculated serial killer, but also the same dumb motherfucker that committed Idaho 4. That's all I'm saying.
That occurred in some other jurisdiction and let that kind of gain a foothold in the zeitgeist, if you will.
Well,
and it's hard to combat that. How do you prove that?
On balance, I understand the concern, and certainly the presumption must be preserved. However, he's got plenty of problems on his plate in terms of what he's got to deal with. They don't need to smear him.
Yes, they do. No, they do need to smear him because they didn't really have shit. And then the information about the knife sheath not even having nothing until they sent it to a whole other lab. No, trust me, Moscow, this case against Bryan Kohberger's been in trouble. That's why I told you if I was on the jury, he would be found not guilty, whether he did it or not. Because at this point in time, they haven't proven it to me. Now, the ID thing, I have to admit, that's a little iffy. If he genuinely had IDs of the victims, yeah, there's no, no denying that.
From the investigative perspective, what it is that they see in Kohberger that makes them think, to the extent that it's not just automatic that they do this, what kinds of things here would spark that kind of interest, and what would they be doing?
Well, specifically, if they have a case that fits the modus operandi, which is just fancy words for the way of doing something that matches what happened in Idaho. For instance, is the target a young, beautiful co-ed? Was the weapon of choice a knife?
Okay, that's insanity. If we start looking at all the young, beautiful women stabbed and start trying to connect them all to Bryan Kohberger, we're going to be here all fucking day. Beautiful women get stabbed a lot. A lot. I try to stab them as often as possible, but that's a different kind of stabbing. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to this. So like JB said, all of them on my phone will be gonna be like, was he talking about me? He didn't say a name. Slick JB. That's right. Let's get back to the fucking.
Was the arrival and departure of the individual in a vehicle as opposed to being dropped off or by foot? Was the time chosen at this 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock time frame? How about the surveillance, geo-tracking, if you will, that would have been done of the phones? Did something like that occur at this location, at a location they're looking at, to show this time frame? And then finally, is there any surveillance or witness account of somebody being dressed like Bryan Kohberger dressed?
You know what might connect Kohberger? If another killer was wearing black, all black, and killed at night. There's a lot of people that's all black and kill it, dressed in all black. Let's go to Chicago. Let's go. Yeah, no, that's not really saying anything.
And in your experience, looking into something like this, they were not anxious to talk about it. No one said to me that this is pro forma, that this is what we do all the time. Do you see this as a signature type crime that might be noticeable in other cases?
I think it is a signature type crime.
What?
I mean, this is a vicious crime with a K-bar knife. It's unusual. It was a co-ed on campus. So if they're looking at something very specific that's unsolved with these parameters, they're probably looking in the right direction.
Oh.
One other quick step on this.
Look at Garagos. Garagos is smiling. Look at Garagos. He knows Cap and Dapper's full of shit too. I like Garagos. And look at Cap and Dapper. She knows that Garagos knows she's full of shit. He's like, man, this bitch has lost her mind. Anyone that follows Cap and Dapper on Twitter knows this bitch has lost her damn mind.
The other thread of speculation that's out there right now, this I can actually report. I know that they're doing it. But we also hear, well, they're looking very closely at how he may have known any of these victims. How do you deal on the defense side with someone who has no reason to know these girls, knowing these girls or following them?
How do you know he has no reason?
Or even being in their DMs?
How do you know he has no reason? He might have been breaking all their backs. He may have been knocking them all. He may have been knocking all three of those pussies and Dylan's. You don't know. He has no business knowing them. You don't fucking know that. Kohberger might be a pimp. Kohberger may be look, man, a lot of you motherfuckers talk shit about Kohberger. You may end up surprised as fuck that he gets more pussy than me. Maybe. Well, that's probably not the case. More pussy than you. The point of this is look, man, there's a lot of people, and I've seen them in my comments, that actually says he's pretty attractive to them. All I'm saying is this belief that Bryan Kohberger has to be some incel that's not getting any pussy. How do you know Dylan wasn't sucking him off every day? How do you know Kaylee wasn't fucking him? How do you know? That's all I'm saying. So to say he has no business there, you don't know that shit.
Well, I think the first thing that the defense has done, I guarantee you, they've already taken a deep dive into the social media. That's one of the first things you do.
Of course.
Besides running background checks, that's one of the other tasks that you give your people to do in a defense. I want everything on social media. I want a deep dive.
Right.
I want you to scrub it and tell me what's there. Now, if there's a connection, then that's going to be something you're going to have to plumb and deal with. Yep. You know, there was also reported early on that there may have been, in the search at his apartment or location, some other indicia or connection to the victims of this. And if that is the case, you're going to focus like a laser on that, because that is something that is going to be front and center in any prosecutorial presentation of evidence.
Of course. That would be the connection.
Please go to News Nation.
Shut up, Cuomo. Anyway, 100%. Yeah, if there's a connection, and damn sure if he's got the IDs. But when it comes to being suspected in other killings, look, man, you can believe that if you'd like. You can think that if you'd like. I just don't see it. I'm curious what you guys think, though. Let me know in the comment section. Look, if in my opinion, whoever did the IDAHO 4, whether it's Kohberger, whether it's not, to me, this actually was their first time. There's too many mistakes made if this was Kohberger. Now, if it wasn't Kohberger, then it could have been someone that's a serial killer, and maybe someone Kohberger knew. And because, you know, you never fucking know. Now, I will say this. I stand behind my position that the evidence presented still would not convict Kohberger. Like I said, though, if the IDs are there, his ass is grass, right? I don't believe that he's a serial killer. Maybe he wanted to be, maybe. But I don't, them suspecting and looking into crimes in Pennsylvania, to me, is a routine thing. It means nothing. So when these YouTubers come out and like, oh, Kohberger might have been a serial killer. No, stop it. IDAHO was sloppy. IDAHO was as sloppy as a bitch with 4 kids. Sloppy as fuck. Call it what it is. All the way women with 4 kids are like, hey, sorry, your pussy look like an Arby's roast beef sandwich with horsey sauce dripping out of it. But you got to pin the motherfuckers to your leg just to get a, you know what I'm saying. I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time. Let me know in the comments section what you think. If you guys like what I do here, you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel today. I love you guys. I'll be back to you with another video. And I'm firing them out here today. I'm giving them to you raw. Like you was not the chick with 4 kids. A little bit more of a hotter chick. Anyway, I'm bringing them to you raw. Let's go.